see. Okay. Do you want to maybe intersperse it into here? Yeah. And then take that one.
This one? Take it out.
So we'll this picture, then skip over the picture, and more speaking. And you'll not be simpler because you'll notice it's going to pictures. So one more picture. Thank you. Call it to order because I already called them once.
Yes, and I just say we are starting. Please make your way to your seats.
Okay, we're starting the second session. I have some great news right off the bat. If the massage therapists are going to stay in the room with us for the second half, so if you put up your hand and you want a massage, just put up your hand during the program, and they'll be happy to come around. I'm just going to leave my hand up all the time. Okay, thank you for coming back. We hope you enjoyed this past hour. I'm now happy to introduce our panelists for our progress panel. The panel is meant to inform you about any progress and programs that have become or are becoming available for caregivers across Ontario. Starting this session, I'm delighted to invite Gail Seddon, who is Vice President of Home and Community Care for the Toronto Central Local Health Integration Network. Gail?
Get my slides? Perfect. Well, I guess it's almost good afternoon. I think a lot of people have enjoyed the morning, and I am really honored to be here on behalf of Susan Fitzpatrick, the CEO of the Toronto Central LHIN. Today, I'm going to talk a little bit about the journey that the Toronto Central LHIN has been on, including the bringing together of the Toronto Central CCAC into the LHIN, but more importantly, our joint journey in understanding how to help our caregivers and support our caregivers here in the Toronto Central LHIN. I'm also going to pause for a moment to speak about the economic discussion, because I do believe that's a very important discussion as we're talking about caregivers. Further, I'm going to drop down into the world of home care and talk about a little bit of research that I have been very proud to be a member of, looking at increasing resiliency in caregivers who are providing care to seniors, typically with dementia. From there, I'm going to celebrate the great programs that work in partnership with the Toronto Central LHIN and have provided over 8,000 people in our LHIN with caregiver support in the last year. And finally, I hope I'm going to leave you with a little bit of information regarding the services and how to access those. So to start with, what is the Toronto Central LHIN? Well, we are a planner, we are a funder, and now we are a service delivery. And we bring together 17 hospitals, 59 community support centers, 36 long-term care, 22 service providers, 17 community health centers, and 75 community health providers. In total, all of us are working together to provide the best support we can in the city of Toronto. What is interesting in a new journey for us in healthcare is understanding the important role that caregivers play and how we need to find a way to include caregivers in those discussions. I do some work at the Bloomberg Faculty of Nursing, and one of the things that when I'm speaking to new students about is we used to say that it was about a relationship between yourself and the client. We now so know that that is a part of a relationship, but including the caregiver in those conversations is extremely important. Specifically into the home care world, we support 73,000 people on an annual basis. Our care coordinators provide health support. They ask people what is most important to them and then try to link and connect their care, and also ensure that there's continuity of care between all of the various providers, as you can see in our very complex system. Moving on to what I mentioned about the economic discussion. There are a variety of different research papers, government papers that have been written on this. But I think one of the key things we need to understand is the incredible volume amount of care that each day our unpaid caregivers are providing to people so they can continue to live in the communities of their choice. In Canada, this is an extremely important and essential part of our caregiver infrastructure. However, I would challenge all of us to look for opportunities to make sure that that critical member of our care community is also got an equal voice at our planning tables. We know that 70 to 80% of home care can be provided by these informal caregivers. We know that this is worth $26 billion. That's $26 billion on an annual basis. That does not include people who have had to step out of the workforce, as we heard earlier this morning. That does not speak about children who don't proceed further academic opportunities because they have caregiving opportunities at home. That is one of our economic factors, that $26 billion. We also know that by 2046, the number of people in our country who are going to need support is going to double. So the work that is happening today and the work that you are doing every day is critical to help us understand how to sustain caregivers. Right now, I estimate that in Toronto Central LHIN alone, about 65% of the care that's required is being provided by caregivers. I'd now like to step into understanding the caregivers in the seniors realm a little bit and go into some research that I've been very proud to be part of. Historically, we used to talk about the caregiver burden in a very academic and cold way. What we are starting to understand, what is far more important, is caregiver resiliency. How can we support people so that they can remain in the caregiving role? For those who are starting to struggle and wonder if they can continue, what types of things would truly make a difference to them? We know that when we support our caregivers, people are able to continue to remain to live in the communities and places of their choice. We know that hospitalizations unnecessarily are avoided, and purposeful hospitalizations are far more meaningful from a patient experience. We also know that this can either help people avoid or delay admissions into long-term care. But I'd like you to look on the far slide. Between 2010 and 2014, the degree of caregivers, and this is just looking at the slice of caregivers that were having services through the Toronto Central CCAC, now the LHIN, their degree of caregivers who were experiencing distress increased almost twofold. What that means in very practical terms is those individuals who said, I'm not sure I can continue doing this, doubled in very few years. Again, for all of us, that creates a very big challenge. How do we change the way we're doing things so that we can support caregivers to stay in the role that they are? How do we look at the type of programs that were happening and whether they really do help? And that leads me into some of the future research. 2 years ago, the Ministry of Health and Long-Term Care gave the home care group a small amount of money to see if we could help caregivers. In Toronto, we actively chose to implement this using a quality improvement methodology. What that meant is we really wanted to understand what would help the caregivers that were at home with people with advanced dementia to either remain at their current level of resiliency or increase it. The steps of that really started at a very simple but a very, very complex conversation. It started with really understanding what the caregiver plan was. If you can imagine, as a caregiver who frequently has had people talk to you about your loved one or your daughter or your son or whatever, and all of a sudden the conversation changed to, what about you? What do you need? What do you need? The typical response is, I don't know. I've not been asked that question before. I'm not sure how to ask it. And some people even said, I'm a little afraid to answer that question. I don't know where to start or if I'm going to be able to stop. However, we did proceed and we had these conversations. We did a preliminary assessment and went back 6 months later to ask people, what we put in place, what you and I decided together, is it making a difference for you and is it not? And if not, let's change it. We also said to people, can you tell us about what's most important and what are your greatest needs? And work with us to develop that program. Historically, sometimes when home care went into people's homes, we went in not only with a diagnosis in mind, but an intervention. You need respite care. I got the warning, thank you. But this time we asked, what would be most important to you? So that is important research that's helped us really understand what is most important to people. What we have learned is the resiliency factors that were measured using standardized methodology improved by over 30%. What we also understood is that for some people, the resources that the home care system could bring to bear to support them in their caregiver role were not effective. And that's one of the great things that is going to come from this relationship with the LHINs, because we now have a much more broad group of resources that we can bring forward. With the 8,000 people that we are helping through the LHIN, this can be working with places like Wood Green, the Alzheimer's Society, other places like the Family Service, for example, the Parkdale Golden Age and the Second Mile Club. Again, we're going to have to work together to understand what is most important to support our caregivers, because one size is not going to fit all. Each person is going to be needed to be identified as an individual with unique needs, unique desires, and a system that will support them specifically. And if you need some help, we have some places to call, and you will see on the back of your brochure today, the healthline.ca is available to you. We have at the Toronto Central LHIN and the Community Navigation Project have combined together with the Seniors Helpline. All of those staff sit side by side. So if you call one person and they're not quite sure how to connect you with care, somebody else certainly will. We have our adult day programs, our enhanced day programs, and many other services. But I encourage us to use days like today to understand each other's needs better and for us to build a system together that is going to support all of our caregivers. Because a very simple number is $26 billion, folks. If we don't do this, we are going to be having much bigger conversations that we are going to need to have. And I would suggest the ones we are having today are a lot more fun and a lot more important. I thank you very much for your time, and now I invite my colleagues to join me.
Thank you so much, Gail. I'm sure you found those statistics as surprising as I did. 26 billion is a really big number. There's a lot of us out there. Thank you, Gail. Coming up next is Susan Anstis. Susan is a social worker by background and manager of design research at Wood Green Community Services, which is a member of both the Change Foundation Changing Care Initiative and the Enriches Initiative, both of which we'll hear about today. Please welcome Susan.
Thank you. Okay, so I just want to let you know that I'm here as a project manager on the Cultivating Change project. So I'm here representing my project team, and I'm delighted to be here. I'm from Wood Green, as was mentioned, and Wood Green provides community services, including home care services and the Toronto Seniors Helpline for community residents in East Toronto and across the GTA. So, next slide. No, sorry, that's it. Yeah. So today I'm going to give an overview of the Cultivating Change project. And this is a partnership with Sinai Health System, Wood Green, and our wonderful funder, the Change Foundation. And the project seeks to co-design, so co-create, a caregiver-friendly hospital and community. And I'll show you in a moment the different ways that we plan to do that, but important that to understand that co-design means we really want involvement and participation and co-working with caregivers. Okay. So I want to emphasize what co-design means. Co-design means that although we are working as service providers, providing a vast array of clinical services at Sinai Hospital, at Bridgepoint, and at Wood Green, we also really need to be working with, have a strong voice for caregivers, be very collaborative with caregivers in order to direct this project so that we know how to improve the experiences for caregivers that come into contact with our services. And this quote I love because it really takes away all the technical speak and really points to the reason for doing co-design work. Okay. We're currently working on 4 projects under the bigger umbrella of Cultivating Change. So we are working on projects in Bridgepoint's palliative care and Sinai's palliative care program to improve caregiver experiences. We're working on a project in the stroke unit at Bridgepoint to improve caregivers' experiences there, and about to embark on a project with, at Mount Sinai Hospital with the neonatal ICU program. We're also in the midst of a project that looks to community caregivers to understand how community caregivers who interact with programs and services at Wood Green can have a better experience. And I want to give you an overview of that project and how it will roll out this year. So this is an overview of the steps that we use for co-designing a project with our stakeholders who are caregivers and community members. The first stage is that we connect with caregivers to really listen to their stories, understand what it's like to be a caregiver and to stand in those shoes. And we've been doing interviews with caregivers in Toronto so far, as well as the Change Foundation has been interviewing across Ontario with over 300 caregivers. We're also planning to do 4 short video diaries of a day in the life of a caregiver. And that would be following somebody's story that would really bring to life what it means to be a caregiver on the ground every day. In early June, we move into the understand phase of our project when we deliver or offer a one-day caregiving event where we bring caregivers together with stakeholders such as community workers, hospital workers, policymakers, and decision makers. And we ask, how might we at Wood Green become a better community member and improve experiences for caregivers? In the next stages in the implementation, we will work alongside caregivers to refine the ideas that we gain from the event. So at the event, we'll have brainstorming and workshops to understand how we might do a better job of being a caregiver-friendly community. Those many ideas will come together, be refined by caregivers and staff and stakeholders so that we implement at least 3 top ideas during the coming year. And then an important part of doing that as we implement and we make change is not to just assume that everything is going to be better or going well, is that we measure the impact that we have. And where we have success, we move on to sustain and improve. So I'm just going to sum up finally by putting out an ask to you to help us help other caregivers. If you are interested in knowing more about this project and participating in this project, for instance, as in the interviews or the video, please don't hesitate to contact me. And I'm going to put up my contact information. If you know somebody who would like to know more about the project, please get in touch. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Susan. That was really great. I'm very excited, actually, about the initiative that's taking place at Wood Green and Mount Sinai. It's very close to my heart. Last but not least, I would like to invite Anna Danieli, who is the project manager of the Enriches Collaborative and part of the organizers of this event. Please welcome Anna.
Thank you. I'm very excited to be here today and part of this event, and also to be here with all of you. I will try to be very brief because we have a very nice and entertaining show for you right after. So I would try to be very brief so that we can get to it. But I would like to take a few short moments to tell you about an initiative that is called Enriches, that is dedicated specifically to caregivers. And that is Enriches. Enriches stands for the Engagement to Reduce Isolation in Caregivers at Home and Enhance Seniors. And it's funded in part by the Government of Canada's New Horizons for Seniors program. It's basically, as you can see on the slide, a collective of 5 organizations coming together under the common agenda to reduce social isolation in caregivers age 55 plus in Toronto by the end of 2018. And I'll just name briefly the partners: Alzheimer's Society of Toronto, Canadian Mental Health Association Ontario, North York Community House, Sinai Health System, Reitman Center, and Wood Green Community Services, all of which also contributed to this event and are here with us today in the crowd. And the way that we approach social isolation as a collective is through 4 main strategies. The first one is to identify caregivers in need of support. So that is about proactively seeking out caregivers that are in need of support by partnering with as many sectors and partners in the community and spreading the word as much as we can. The second one is about engaging caregivers in various programs through our various partners to enable, I would say, for 2 main reasons. One would be to build resilience, but the second one really to expand social networks. And the third one is about connecting caregivers to any information or any other services that can bridge barriers to social participation. And last but not least is build. And this is about building awareness and system capacity to identify and respond to caregiver needs. And what we have recognized early on is that not only that caregivers are very invisible in our system that is still very patient-focused, but often caregivers themselves don't self-identify as such. They are a mother, a daughter, a father, a friend, a neighbor, but not necessarily see themselves as a caregiver. And part of the idea of this capacity is through training and education to reach out and build that awareness. And we ran quite a few training programs and events across the city, including participating and taking leadership role in this event today. We also ran a TTC campaign that ran through Seniors Month during September and October. And we do many, many different activities in that area. So I want to tell you a little bit about what's available for caregivers through those programs. Each of our partners offer different programs, all of them for free and available for caregivers. Some of them address more, provide more social and recreation opportunities, such as, for example, conversation circles and yoga, art programs. Some of them are health and well-being programs to really increase caregivers' ability to cope with daily life challenges and also provide emotional support to the caregivers. And we also have programs that help with technology. Some of you have visited our technology booth. If you haven't done so yet, I highly recommend it. But these programs are about helping with any digital literacy, so helping with using computer, helping with using and navigating social media, finding resources online. So we have several programs that can help you do that. And some about specific caregiver skills. All of our partners also provide some form of system navigation and connection to services. And we also have financial navigation program and financial empowerment programs through Wood Green Community Center. And we have some settlement and newcomer programs and language-specific programs through North York Community House. I'll just end by showing the postcard for Enriches. And this is our website. On the postcard, you will find the address of our website, www.enriches.ca, where you can find more details and specific contact information for each program. But you can also access our programs through any of the major helplines out there, 211, the Toronto Senior Helpline, the Helpline, all of those you can just call. They're all mentioned on our postcards. And if you haven't taken the postcards, it's there on the resource table, so feel free to take one, grab a few and share it with your friends, and help us spread the word and reach as many caregivers as we possibly can. And just to sum up, to date, Enriches has engaged over close to 2,000 caregivers and have trained over 1,700 professionals and volunteers across Toronto. And I would like to shift gears here to another activity that we take place, but is not necessarily entirely just Enriches. So I want to shift gear and tell you also about the Toronto Caregiver Forum. And this is a forum of 20 different organizations that their focus is caregivers. And we all came together last year, together also with the Enriches partners. And we all came together last year to form this day together, Caregivers Day. So we did it last year, and this is the second year in a row. And I guess the success of the event last year showed us the power of collaborating and working together. And so we have remained as a group in contact to this date, and we have formed the Toronto Caregiver Forum, which also has caregivers as members in this forum as well. And what we focus in this forum is, first of all, enhancing and coordinating our mutual efforts to promote programs and initiatives for caregivers. The second thing is, of course, organizing Caregivers Day. And but the third thing, and I think the main thing that is grabbing our focus right now, is we are working in collaboration with the City of Toronto, with a lot of leadership from Andrea Austin, who is also the lead for the Senior Strategy 2.0 implementation. And we are working together to create a Toronto-based caregiver strategy. So the surveys that some of you received and filled online, and all of you received as you entered the event today, are meant to inform us in putting this this strategy together so it can be informed and driven by you, the caregivers. This is a very preliminary survey. It's going to be one of many that we're going to do towards this strategy. But please, if you haven't done so yet, take a few moments to fill it in. If you need it in another language, there are some translated copies at the resource table. And when you're done, there's going to be volunteers waiting for you at the exits, and you can just give it to any volunteer or just simply give it to the volunteer at the resource table, and we would greatly appreciate your feedback. I wish you to enjoy the rest of the day, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Anna. Enrich's program is really good, and they do a lot of excellent work. I've seen the programs that they put on, and they're very, very helpful. I hope that you'll go online and look them up and perhaps attend one of their workshops. So thank you to each of our panelists. To finish the day with a smile, we want to welcome from Broadway the fabulous and hilarious magician and comedian, Mark Carrera. Mark is also known for his philanthropic adventures. Most recently, Mark helped raise over $15,000 towards Parkinson's Society of Canada. Please give Mark a big cheer.
Check, check. Good. Can everybody hear me okay? Good. Sorry, that wasn't more magical. My name is Mark Correa. I'm a magician. I'm going to magish for you today. That's what that means. Hey, how are you guys doing? Good. Good. It's amazing to be around all of you. Thank you so much for having me. You are the real magicians, truly. But I'll do a little bit of magic that I've learned over the past 17 years that I've been doing this. Way too long. I'll show you exactly what I've learned in that time. So put your hands out in front of you just like this if you want to play along. This is kind of like a magical thing we can all do together to warm ourselves up, okay? We're just going to practice clapping because we're going to be doing a lot of it, all right? So put one hand over the other just like that. It's a very simple game. All you have to do is clap your hands when I clap my hands. So when my hands touch together, your hands just touch together at the same time. So you see if you can do it at the exact same moment that I do. It will sound like one big clap, okay? It's very simple. It looks like this. That was pretty awful, I won't lie, okay? A little late over here. I don't want to mention any names, okay? We'll do it again. We'll do it all at the same time. It's okay. It was your first time. Second time, it's much easier. We had a straggler right there. Sorry, one straggler. Do it again. Ready? Good. Better. Bad. Very bad. Not great at all, to be honest, okay? I should have mentioned this, or I didn't say this. If I don't clap my hands, don't clap your hands, okay? Don't touch your hands if I don't. Okay, we'll do it again. Here we go. It gets easier, I promise. Perfect. No, bad. I thought we went over this. Okay, we'll do it again. This is the last time. I'll go very quickly this time. See if you can stop at the exact same moment that I stopped. Okay? Even quicker. Here we go. Nope. My favorite one. That's my favorite one. The show gets better, okay? The tricks get a little harder for you guys. Put your hands in front of you like this. This is fun. Point your thumbs towards the floor now. This one gets a lot harder. So you can always clap your hands back to back. Everyone can do that. Perfect. Now cross one hand over the other. You're a little mixed up. And then link your fingers into each other. I don't know if you know that trick that you used to do in school. You flip your hands through like this, and then you can see if you can move your fingers. They're kind of mixed up. So we're going to do that. Link your fingers into each other. But don't put your hands through. Just leave them outstretched in front of you. Great. Now see if you can wiggle just one of your index fingers, but don't move anything else, okay? That's the easiest finger. Good, 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 good. Now see if you can move one of your pinkies, but don't move anything else. Good. You can move all of them if you'd like. Yeah, that's up to you. Okay. Now see if you can wiggle both of them. Good. This is the hard one. See if you can take your thumbs and just go towards the ceiling just like that. Just flip them up, and then you should be reset back to normal. Yeah, everyone? Having a couple problems here? No? Yeah, just flip them up. No? Okay, okay. We'll get to the magic now. I don't know how many people have seen one of these before. This is a Rubik's Cube, for those who haven't seen one. And does anyone know how to solve one of these in the audience? Yes? No? No? Don't know how? It's difficult. I will teach you how to solve one of these. All you do is hold it in your right hand like this, and then with your left hand, you just peel the stickers off and put them on the right sides of the cube. It's true, I'll be honest, that's what I do. I don't know if you've seen a magician on America's Got Talent. He does it a little bit differently. He throws the cube behind his back, and when he catches the cube, it's solved on all sides. I can't do that, that's what he does. I don't know how to do that. Mine's a little bit different. It looks like this. So you take the cube, make sure it's nice and mixed up by somebody. Take it back. Watch closely, you might miss the moment that it happens, okay? All right, so watch the cube closely. There we go. That should solve itself. Okay. I'm going to need somebody from the audience now to come up and help me with this next trick. So anybody at all? Yeah, would you like to come up with your hand nice and high in the air? Big round of applause for our volunteer. Make us feel welcome. You can come up onto the stage. I have something here for us. It is right here. It's a deck of playing cards, okay? Are you good with it? Are you good with cards? You cheat with poker. Perfect, perfect. This is good. Just watch your step there. Sudden gust of gravity. It's okay. You can come up. What is your name? Anne, nice to meet you. Mark, nice to meet you. You can stand here right with me, Anne. Big wave to Anne, everyone, to say hi to Anne. That's for you, that's for you. Oh, great. You just admit that she's cheating, too. You don't get that very often, okay? I have the cards here. It's a regular deck of playing cards, and you're going to make sure that that's normal. Thank you. Good, she's lying for me. I appreciate that, Anne. Thank you. No, these are normal, though, right? No, it's not a trick deck or anything? Okay, Anne, I'm going to show off a little bit, okay? This is just for the audience and for you. Yeah, that's a pity, I know the difference, okay? We'll go a little bit higher. Check this out. Thank you. Okay, a little better. Gets better from there, too. Do one of these. Thank you. What's this, Anne? Ah, got it. Okay, good. Close. All right. They get better, okay? This is Niagara Falls. I do some impressions. This is Niagara Falls. Yeah, thank you.
It looks just like the real thing.
Exactly. And this is Niagara Falls on the American side. You see, yeah, it looks like the real thing too. You've seen it. This is in the winter. Yeah. Oh, sorry. You remember when you said that these were normal? Yeah. Yeah, they're not. Woo! Woo! These are jokes. They get worse. Okay. The magic gets better. Thank you so much, Mom, for coming. Okay, put these over here. This is a regular deck of playing cards. This one we will use for real. These ones are not. Yeah, they're not attached. And Anne, you can check them out. Shuffle them any way you want. Just don't change the order of the cards at all. Yeah, that's perfect. Wow, yes. Thank you so much. Okay, perfect. I can tell you win at poker a lot, right? This is a normal deck of cards. These ones are not attached together. I do a couple shuffles here. This is the riffle shuffle. Riffle shuffle, okay?
You did it better than me.
Thank you. It's years of practice, that's all. This one, I don't know if you know this one. This is the Prime Minister shuffle. Thank you.
What does that mean, a Prime Minister?
Prime Minister shuffle because it looks good, but it doesn't really do anything, okay? So that's, sorry. Okay? So, now you're gonna pick a card, you're gonna put it back in the deck, I'm gonna shuffle it up, and then I'm gonna try to find it, okay?
Do I show just myself?
Yes, make sure you see it, okay?
Not them?
You can show the audience too. All of you are gonna know, I'm the only one who doesn't.
Do they have monitors that you can...
Don't worry about that, okay? Don't worry about that. You're gonna take any card that you want, free choice. Touch any one that you want. Go ahead.
Not that one.
Okay, all right, fair, that's fair. Yeah. Take it out, take a look at it. Before you show them, I'll just grab the card from you. I will not look at it, I promise. I'm a magician, you can trust me, okay? Memorize the front of the card, do not forget that, okay? Memorize the back of the card, do not forget that either, okay? Back of the card. Just kidding, it's a small joke. We'll do it for real this time. Thank you. Make sure I don't see the card. Make sure I don't do any funny things like that. It's your secret. No, I'll just close my eyes. Does that work? Take any card that you want. Got one now? This is the card. Memorize this card. It's yours. Show it to everyone in the audience. I'll keep my eyes closed. Nobody yell out the card. I already know the trick. I've seen the end before. Okay? This is for you. Does everybody see the card? Take your time and hurry up. Got it? So you'll know what this card looks like when you see it later, correct? Okay, hopefully we do. So you can put your card back here in the middle of the deck. Thank you. Make sure I don't look. These cards go on top, okay? There's no way that I can know where it is. And I will shuffle the cards now for real.
For real.
Shuffle. I'll shuffle them again to make sure I really don't know where that card is. Is that fair?
Yeah, that's fair.
Good. I'll shuffle it one more time just to be sure for all the people who don't trust me. One more time like this.
I trust you.
Thank you very much.
You never lie to me.
No, I'll never lie. I've never lied before in my life. Okay? Just like that. Now that the cards are shuffled, I could go through and find it with my hands. It's a bit boring. I'm not going to find it with my hands.
What do you do with your feet?
With my mouth, okay? Nothing inside of my mouth. Nothing in my hands. Nothing in my brain, okay? I'm going to take the whole deck. I put it inside here. Ready?
You must be joking. Mark, you don't know where those cards are.
Put it in my mouth. can't understand a word you're saying. I'm going to take a bubble card. I know where it is. Oh, you don't know where it is. You'll feel it with your tongue. The card that I...
Yeah, you feel it with the fly. Right, okay. This is what I've been wanting it. Alright, this is the eyes. Alright, face the and face the eyes.
Face the eye?
Face it. Okay, now watch this. I'm going to put one fly on my mouth and one as a head. It'll go ah.
I'm looking. Should I look at you? Watch. Oh, really? Are you serious? And then you're gonna hold that on? Are you serious? There's one card holding up inside of my mouth. And the wind protector of the mic, okay? That's in there too. Great. One card. For the first time ever. What was the name of your card? Do you remember?
Should I say it
Out loud.
Two of hearts.
That's exactly what I got. The two of hearts, ladies and gentlemen, inside of my mouth hole. Thank you so much. Big round of applause for Anne helping me out. Thank you so much, Anne. Wait, before you leave, Anne, stay right there. Before you leave, before you go any further, I do have something for you for coming up on stage and helping me. No, it's a souvenir from the show. It's even better than money. There you go. Perfect. This is going to be worth something one day, okay? Thank you so much. Hopefully. Big round of applause for Anne one more time. You can go sit down. Thank you so much, Anne. That was lots of fun. Okay, don't do that at home, by the way. Do it at a friend's house, okay? I'm now going to do a couple more tricks, 2 more tricks, and I'll be out of here. I'm going to grab this. I've never had that happen to me before. I just swallowed the wind protector of the mic almost. Is that better or worse? Better? All right. The exact same. That's great. Okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to teach you now a trick. I'm going to show it to you, and then I'll teach you how it's done immediately afterwards. Okay, that's going to be a bad angle. Great. Check this out. I have a 4-sided playing card here. I'll teach you how to make one at home. Magic is real. Okay, I take this. It has 4 sides. It has 1 dot on this side. It has 4 dots on this side. It has 3 dots on this side. And it has 6 dots on that side. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for the sitting ovation. I'll do it again. I'll go a bit slower. Okay. Do it again. I have 1 dot on this side of the card. I have 4 dots on this side of the card. Okay. I have 3 dots on this side of the card, and I have 6 dots on that side of the card. Thank you so much. Thank you. Now just look over here, okay? Okay. I'm going to teach you exactly how this trick is done. Does anybody think they figured it out, though? Yeah, how I place my fingers, right? Okay. So this is kind of interesting. So how many dots do you think are on this side, really? Anyone? Guesses? 2? Right? Should be 2. So you think that there would be another dot under my hand here, correct? So if I move my hand, there should be a dot underneath my hand. There is. I'm not that good, okay? There's a dot. There's a dot there. You're right. You're right, okay? 2 dots here on this side. So when I cover it here, I just say that I have 1 dot. 1 dot. Looks like 1 dot. When I cover it here, I just say that I have 3 dots. So I have 3 dots like that. It's very simple. Don't cover it like this when you say you have 1 dot. That's the only rule, okay? Like this, 1 dot. So if you want to make this at home, you can just cut out a piece of cardboard, Bristol board like this, draw your dots on in this position. That's how the trick works, okay? And then on this side of the card, I obviously have 5 dots, right? So when I cover it here, I say that I have 4. When I cover it here, I say that I have 6. And then you can fool your friends for ages. There's only one thing you can't do. Don't draw 3 dots on this side, because the trick isn't going to work, okay? That's all. Just don't do that. The trick won't work, okay? You have to use your imagination to make this possible, or wine is fine, okay? Like that. And on the other side here, don't do this either. Do not get 6 dots on this side, because then the trick really is not going to work at all. You'll have 6 here and 3 here. It's impossible. Does everybody follow along here? Everybody following along? Yeah, that makes sense to everyone? So how many dots do I have on the other side? 6. Who says 6? 6? 6? Going once? Going twice. Okay, it's close. I actually have 8 dots on this side, okay? I have 8 dots on that side, and at that point, I don't know. Thank you so much. Thank you. I don't even know how that shit works myself. No idea. I have a full one here, actually. Okay, so I'm going to actually teach you a trick now. This is something you can really do at home. I'll go over it very slowly. This is my last trick of the day, and then I will leave, so we're going to end on a very high note here. This is the best trick that I do. Maybe I'll just use a full one. Okay. First, we need a paper bag. You do this, open up the bag, put a Coke bottle inside. It has to be a bottle, it cannot be a can, okay? It goes inside just like this. And I'm gonna misdirect you and make that bottle vanish, but you're not gonna notice the moment that it happens. It's quite cool. I'll get this actually. Take it easy. That wasn't the moment. Still here, bottle, bag. I say the magic words over the bag and then it's going to vanish. Do you have magic words that you like? Everyone has the same magic word they like. That's great. Abracadabra. Say it like this over the bag. Abracadabra. Just like that. Magic inside. I leave a moment of suspense. There it is. And then I blow. And the bottle vanishes from the bag. And now, the harder part, making it come back. Watch. Abracadabra. Like that, and the bottle's back in the bag. Thank you so much. 2 tricks for the price of 1. Thank you. Encore. Right, I'll do it again, just because you asked. Here we go. But this time I'll prove it. Some of you are skeptical, maybe. You don't get the bottle vanish. So I will give you proof this time, and it'll be a magic trick. So here we go. Bottle, bag. Say the magic words. Like that. Throw some magic inside. Leave a moment for suspense. You want me to do this? You want me to turn it upside down? No. Okay? It vanishes from the bag. I'll give you proof. I'll give you proof. You want proof? Okay, I'll check. Yeah, it's gone. Okay, I'll bring it back now. Abracadabra. And now the bottle's back. Thank you so much. Thank you. Pardon? Do you want to volunteer for this? You're going to tear the bag up. Absolutely not. No. I'm on a magician's budget. I need to keep these, okay? All right, I'll do this again. Even though you didn't ask this time. One more time. I will prove it this time for real. There's a bottle. There's a bag. We know this. I will make the bottle vanish from the bag. Like that. I throw some magic inside. Leave a moment for suspense. You want to see the bag? There it is. There's the bag. Tear the bag? You want me to turn it upside down? Okay, all right. What? It's a bad trick, forget about it. That's it. Thank you so much. Thank you. I hope you enjoy the show. That's it for me. I'll give this to somebody. You can have this. It's a souvenir. That's for you. Thank you so much for having me out. I hope you enjoyed the show. If you did like the show, I'm Mark Correa. And if you hated the show, I'm David Copperfield. Okay? Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. Hope to see you all soon.
That was hilarious. Really good. Thank you very much, Mark. I would like to take the time to thank all the organizations and some of the people who worked very hard at putting this event together. A number of people said how great it was, but there are people behind the scenes that we don't see who make all of this happen. I want to thank all of our speakers and performers and all of the contributing organizations. You can see their names here. They all volunteered people or time or money to help make this day as successful as it was. I want to thank City Hall for hosting the event at such a beautiful and symbolic venue, and to Sinai Health System and Enriches for leading and funding this event. I would like to thank the mayor and councilors, and especially thank Andrea Austin. Andrea, I see you there. Thank you. Frida Cordoba. And Paloma Malonis. Did I pronounce that right? Close enough, yeah. And Aggie Forte from the city. I'm not sure if Aggie's still here. I want to thank all of our wonderful volunteers and acknowledge the Toronto Caregiver Forum and Enriches Initiative partners and the team at the Rietman Center Sinai Health System. I also want to thank Ron Boleno, LaRue Peoples, and Dr. Kaylee Alton, who took time from their work to volunteer here today and help our caregivers. Finally, I want to send a big shout out to Anna Daniele, who works tirelessly. Anna, where are you? Not sure where she disappeared, but she was one of the speakers here, and she organizes this event. So coming up with ideas to reaching out to volunteers and also our magician. And the reason this day has been so good is because of Annette. It's so great to see people engaging with the massage therapist and the speed mentoring. I hope you have enjoyed today. I want to leave you with this final thought. Rosalind Carter said there are 4 kinds of people in the world: those who have been caregivers, those who are currently caregivers, those who will be caregivers, and those who will need caregivers. Caregiving is not just one of many topics. It is about all of us. The strength of our community relies on caregiving and caregivers, and is measured by how we care for one another, but also how we care for our caregivers. My last thank you goes to all the caregivers at home and here with us today. Thank you for your patience and have a great day.